There is some risk, I think, in asking somebody to speak about business succession planners or succession planning whose last two presentations have respectively been titled Family Governance for Dummies and Networking, Connecting, and Transcending, which suggests that hot tubs are required but clothing might be optional. But nevertheless, I'm going to do my best on something that's a little bit more technical than my two most recent presentations. Succession planning is a continuing process whose goal is to identify and incorporate into the ownership and management of a business or an enterprise the successors or successor to the founder or the founders of the same. It's really an interesting topic. I had a buddy recently call an attorney, a business attorney, and my buddy asked the attorney, he says, so let me ask you a question. He says, how much money would you charge me to ask you 3 questions about business succession planning? And the attorney said, 3 questions about business succession planning? $1,500. I'll charge you $1,500. And my buddy goes, $1,500 for just 3 questions? Isn't that a bit expensive? And the attorney says, so what's your third question? My first question always is do we have a business first family or a family first business? A family first business, in my mind, okay, is a family that owns things primarily to support a certain lifestyle. So these families might not be as concerned about things like legacy or succession planning. They're more concerned about things like cash flow, flying on jets to Aspen, well, private jets to Aspen, those kinds of things. Business first families are families that I think are much more inclined to having or to utilizing things like mission statements and value statements and concerned about transferring wealth to succeeding generations and having private foundations and legacy issues and perpetuating value. So we have buy-sell applications. Those are fairly straightforward. You have a bunch of partners owning a business. What happens if one dies, if one wants to be bought out? That's fairly straightforward. We have what I call family succession applications. How do we transfer these valuable assets, this closely held business of the family, to the second and third generation so we don't go from shirt sleeves to shirt sleeves in 3 generations? And then, of course, we have liquidity applications when you're building value of a business with the goal being to someday sell it. A couple of interesting things that I learned in succession planning for very high net worth families that want to keep businesses and assets in their family. 2 important points. Number 1, ownership and management aren't the same thing. Okay? They are not the same thing. There's this thing called control. Okay? Control is the most important thing to most patriarchs or matriarchs of high net worth families. Not ownership, not necessarily management, but control. Okay? Sometimes people confuse ownership and control and management as being all the same thing, and that can be really risky if, for example, like the other thing that's frequently missed in family succession planning are the effects of both grief and what I call cognitive issues on family planning. As people live longer, I now run into situations where the patriarch or matriarch of a family is at the stage in life, and I'm not going to name an age, but they're at a stage in life where maybe they don't process information as quickly. In other words, cognitive issues are now starting to occur. They might be 80, 85, 90, whatever. And I found that procrastination is frequently the result of somebody who is starting to have the early onset, for example, of Alzheimer's or other cognitive issues. They simply can't make decisions. One way I find that professional service advisors can really add value in succession planning is I think professional service advisors who learn how to ask questions and listen do much better or provide much better value to their customers than professional service advisors who like to answer questions and talk. So Tim's point about ask your clients what's really important to them. Okay, that's key, and so many times that doesn't happen. My role in my family office is to coordinate advisors as well as coordinating family members. Again, we have 2 senior generation families with 6 children with 17 grandchildren, so I coordinate people in ways so that we all have access to important financial information using application service provider technology so people can see things and so that we can subject important decisions or recommendations to independent and objective clearance and oversight in a transparent manner where there is a healthy degree of skepticism. The goal of collaboration is independent and objective oversight and clearance of all important decisions that a family is making, where everybody who's involved in the process checks their ego at the door and works towards the common goal of what is the best answer for this customer that I'm serving. The goal of family governance is that every family member is thriving